Good evening, dear viewers. This is Santa Claus greeting you on January 16, 2026. My goodness, what a full sleigh of news we have to share tonight as we journey together through these winter days. On this day in 1991, the Persian Gulf War began with a US-led offensive against Iraq. How my heart aches whenever I think of conflict and war. Today, we find ourselves still seeking that elusive peace in many corners of our world. Speaking of recognition for peace efforts, I noticed that Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has presented her Nobel Peace Prize medal to President Trump in a touching gesture of gratitude. The framed medal reads, "To President Donald J. Trump in gratitude for your extraordinary leadership in promoting peace through strength." How wonderful to see gestures of mutual respect in our often divided world. Now, turning our attention to international trade, Canada has decided to chart its own course by lowering tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles in exchange for reduced tariffs on Canadian farm products. Prime Minister Mark Carney announced this after meeting with Chinese leaders, noting their relationship has become more predictable. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, the United States and Taiwan have reached a trade agreement involving lower tariffs and new investments in America's semiconductor sector. Oh my, these complex trade relationships remind me of how interconnected our global family truly is. With a heavy heart, I must share troubling news from Iran, where calm has returned after protests that faced harsh crackdown. A senior hardline cleric has called for severe punishment of demonstrators. The reported death toll stands at nearly 2,800 souls, each one precious and loved. Iranian authorities have also been interfering with Starlink satellite services, making it difficult for people to communicate. Let us keep the Iranian people in our thoughts and prayers during this challenging time. Meanwhile, our friends in Ukraine are facing a most difficult winter. Their energy system, damaged by Russian attacks, is meeting only 60% of electricity needs during this bitter cold season. President Zelenskiy reports they need 18 gigawatts but can generate only 11. Thousands of homes remain unheated and dark in freezing temperatures. Oh, how my heart goes out to families huddling together for warmth. In South Korea, former President Yoon Suk-yeol has been sentenced to 5 years in prison related to his martial law decree, with more serious charges still pending. The path of leadership is never easy, but the responsibility to use power wisely is one that weighs heavily on all who govern. On a note of diplomatic engagement, CIA Director John Ratcliffe has met with Venezuela's interim leader Delcy Rodriguez in Caracas, discussing cooperation after the recent change in leadership. And President Trump has announced the formation of a board of peace for Gaza as the ceasefire enters its next phase, supporting a Palestinian technocratic government during this transition period. May these efforts bring healing and stability to regions that have seen so much suffering. Closer to home, tensions are rising in Minnesota, where protests have erupted following incidents involving federal immigration agents. President Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act if local authorities cannot maintain order. Oh my, in these challenging times, let us remember that compassion and understanding must guide our responses to one another, especially when viewpoints differ. As we close tonight's news, I'm reminded that even in our most difficult moments, we can choose to see the humanity in one another. Whether discussing international trade, political transitions, or community tensions, let us approach each situation with kindness and a genuine concern for the vulnerable among us. This is Santa Claus, wishing you warmth in these cold January days and encouraging us all to share what we can with those in need. Good night and God bless us, everyone.